Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the 12-Ounce Sports NFL Preview Show. We are live here on the 12-Ounce Sports Network and, of course, Zingo TV, channel 761. Great to be joined here by the AM Drive crew. That's Mike Carvelis and Aaron Crouch. They do a great job 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific, and all points in between. Yours truly, Captain Lou, on every Tuesday night from 8 until 10 p.m. with the Captain Lou Extravaganza. Fellas, week number 3 is upon us. Last week, I got the upper hand slightly. We almost had to arm wrestle via Zoom or whatever you want to call it, Aaron and I, but I won 9-6, and Aaron was 8-7. Fellas, good morning. Great week last week in week 2. Mike, I'll let you go first. Your initial thoughts on the action from week 2.
A lot of good games that I kind of crap my pants on a few times. There's just a lot of good football, and a lot of things that we learned that we kind of may have overreacted to inadvertently from week 1. But I feel like week 2, we kind of settled the grounds on some things, and we look pretty good.
Aaron, you and I talked a little bit last week about how tough it is to bet on week 2 because you just don't know who's fool's gold and who really is for real. I know it's still early 2 weeks into the season, but we may have gotten a couple of questions answered, but then again, we still have a lot of question marks.
Yeah, week 2's theme was don't overreact to week 1. I think, despite the fact that I went 8-7, I felt like it went pretty well. A couple of overreactions, I guess, looking back in hindsight, to me. I didn't want to believe that Arizona and Minnesota were going to put up a ton of points. I thought the defenses would get right, especially in Minnesota. That was an overreaction to me, I guess. And I thought maybe that Urban Meyer could steer the ship a little bit against Denver last week. It turns out that didn't happen either in terms of covering. So those were the week 2 overreactions, in my opinion, and also thinking that the Browns would be much better and much more pissed off and lay the wood on the Texans turned out to be, I guess, an overreaction as well. But 8-7 is a winning week. I'll take it. I'll put an asterisk on my 7th loss, which was the Atlanta Falcons. Really didn't want to make a pick there, but for the purposes of the show, we made a pick. And I made a stupid pick of Falcons money line, which actually looked pretty good when they were only down by 3 there for a second in the fourth quarter.
You'd have really been the hero in that one for sure, Aaron. My initial reactions were, I was really surprised with New Orleans. I thought they'd have a little better effort against Carolina. Maybe we underestimate the Carolina defense. They're looking strong, and obviously they came into Thursday night's game against a somewhat depleted Houston team. I don't think Houston's as bad as a lot of people say, but without any kind of quarterback play, Davis Mills is not ready to be a primetime player, in my opinion. But I think, fellas, the big question now, we're going to have to wait and see, and you got to start wondering on the dependability of Christian McCaffrey. I know he's a great back. He's all world when he's healthy, but you can't keep the guy on the field, and he wants to go 500 miles an hour. And now he got hurt. Luckily, Carolina won on Thursday night. It sounds like he's going to be out for a few weeks. Aaron, I'll start with you. I don't know what to make of that. Carolina, though, to me, is looking strong at 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're winning, it cures all. We have the situation here with Christian McCaffrey. It's I'm not ready to label him injury prone yet because it is only two injuries. The first one kept him out for pretty much most of the season last year. The difference this year is going to be how fast he comes back is based on Chuba Hubbard. Because last year we had Mike Davis. Mike Davis played incredibly well. I don't know if anybody picked him up on a fantasy team. He was definitely a serviceable replacement for Christian McCaffrey. If Chuba Hubbard cannot be Mike Davis, they might feel rushed to bring McCaffrey back, which with a hamstring injury, you got a running back, that never goes well. He's going to be out for about 2-3 weeks. If they can get no running game and they have to put this on Sam Darnold, we'll find out real quick how Sam Darnold really, how good he really is, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And Mike, we talked at the beginning of the year, and I made, a statement that this is kind of a put up or shut up year for a handful of quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, who's injured again. Sam Darnold, no more excuses for him. And I got to tell you, you get with a good coach and somewhat of an offensive scheme. Sam Darnold looks pretty good. And, if he keeps it up, I will come on this show and I will bow down and I will admit that I'm wrong on Sam Darnold. I've never been a big fan, but I got to tell you, Mike, I'm impressed with him the first 3 weeks.
Something that I've been waiting to see is him on a good football team, because with the USC and with the Jets, he really didn't have that, despite what people want to claim. I think the key, though, is their defense. I know they lost Christian McCaffrey. Their defense has been nasty since I saw them in week 1. They're physical, and they are ready to play. So I'm excited.
Well, fellas, let's get into week number 3. We've got some interesting matchups throughout the slate of games here coming up starting tomorrow. The lines that we're going to be giving you, the over-unders and whatnot, are all courtesy of BetUS.com, our new sponsor here on 12-Ounce Sports. Just go to 12OunceSportsRadio.com/BetUS, and for your first deposit, guys, this is a no-brainer. They will match your deposit 125% up to $1,000, man, and that's awesome. So get on there. It's safe. It's a great site, and they've got some great opportunities for you to make a couple extra bucks if you're like me and like to put a couple of shackles on a game here and there throughout the weekend. First on the docket tonight, we're going to go to Western New York. It's going to be Buffalo and Washington. Buffalo, kind of a stinker in their opening game against Pittsburgh, but they righted the ship and how against a Miami team without Tua. Now they get to go up against another quarterback or another team without their original starting quarterback, as Ryan Fitzpatrick is out. Washington travels to Buffalo. Aaron, I'll start with you. 7.5 points is what the line is for Buffalo, their favorite, and a 45.5 over-under. And 85% of the betting public right now is on Buffalo. What's your feeling on this game?
Yeah, when this line opened up, I got a buddy who is a professional gambler here in Vegas. We talk almost every Sunday night and Monday about next week's games. And this game actually opened up Buffalo as a 9.5-point favorite in the 46. And both of us loved the football team catching almost a 10 there. And it feels like the right line because it's come down. I got this line early at 9.5 in favor of Washington covering the 9.5. Also grabbed this early when it opened up at 47. It's down to 45.5 as well. Buffalo's developed a little bit of a running game. I think we looked at the situation where Washington with Tyler Heineke or whatever his name is going to be okay in this spot. J.D. McKissick has actually shown a little burst of confidence here. I don't feel as good about it going down to 6 in this spot. So I actually looked at the two defenses are going to get right. Buffalo played good defense, albeit against Jacoby Brissett last week. But holding a team to a shutout is still difficult in the NFL. I don't care how. So love the under 47. I'm going to stick with the under here in this spot. It's still at 45.5. Makes me want to puke. These lines are all moving away from me this week, Lou. I can't stand it. Everything is moving away from me this week. And the books are fine. I killed it the first 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie. I killed it the first 2 weeks. And these books are they're out to get me, Lou. They're out to get me. So we're going to take 45.5. We're going to take the under in that one and just hold our nose and pray it doesn't hit 46.
Wow.
We'll still win. We'll still win on our ticket. But for the purposes of this, I like to beat you every week, Lou. So under 45.5.
Wow. Mike, what's your feel on this game? Are you back on the Buffalo Bills bandwagon after that week 1 loss to Pittsburgh?
I'm not at all. I think plus 9.5, I would have put $100 on it very quickly. But unfortunately, 7.5. But I'll still take 7.5 for the football team. I think Taylor Heineke is very disrespected. And I feel like that the Buffalo Bills, I'm not going to ride them just because Josh Allen showed up against the Miami Dolphins, who lost their quarterback in the first quarter. So the Bills look better now because their running game is getting a little bit better, sure. But I still think the football team, we heard about their defense. It's supposed to be good, so we'll see how it looks in week 3. It's traveling, but hey, shouldn't be that far of a drive.
Well, I got to tell you, this one's a tough game for me to pick because I have not been impressed with Washington's defense yet in the season, and I don't like that line either. 7.5 is tricky. But I think Buffalo's defense has improved a little bit, and obviously they pitched a shutout. They're not going to do it back-to-back. Aaron, I hate to do this. I got to lean with you. I've got to go with the under on this one as well.
Well, look at the situation. Sorry to interrupt you, Lou. We have – how much did you say the action was on the Bills? 80?
85% of the action is on Buffalo right now, and that's crazy.
And the line has come down.
Yeah.
Reverse line movement here. If you're telling me 80% of the action plus is on there and they're getting worse, we got reverse line movement.
I don't. It's wacky. It's wacky for sure. Mike, we're going to jump over onto Lake Erie, and we've got what I call the Ohio Bowl between a Ohio State alum with Justin Fields getting his first start for the Bears. They're traveling to Cleveland. See, now my line earlier in the week was 7. Now it's up to 7.5 with Cleveland the favorite, over under 44.5. Mike, I'm going to give you first dibs on this one, as I know what I'm going to say. 54% of the betting public is going with Cleveland on this.
So I am with you on the over 44.5. The Bears defense, like the football team, has not been that impressive in my eyes. I also love the Browns minus 7.5 because I feel like Justin Fields came in and was really bad. He was 6 of 15 besides a late run. And if you think, I think this team, the Browns, have a better defensive line on paper, I guess. Justin Fields can be running around for his life, might throw a couple picks. I got Browns minus 7.5, but I'm with you over 44.5 easily.
Aaron, it's again, Justin Fields making his first start. We talked about this last week. Cleveland, they're not going to lose that many games. They played probably the best team in football opening week, Kansas City, and they hung with them until the fourth quarter. So what's your take on this? What's your gut on this game?
So I'm looking at this situation, and I have a rookie quarterback making his first official start on the road. I have an Ohio State quarterback, which I never trust, going up against a defense that's playing above average football at this point right now. No injuries on the major players for the Browns. Offensive tackle Jedrick Wills is questionable in this spot. That may or may not affect the ability to get to Baker Mayfield. We talked about Khalil Mack last week. For the Bears, we have no Tayshaun Gibson in the secondary. We have probably no Akeem Hicks up front, probably no Eddie Goldman, probably no Jeremiah Atashu, and more than likely no Darnell Mooney in this spot. So the Bears offense is going to have a little trouble here. You have no Darnell Mooney. You have no safety blanket after Allen Robinson gets double teamed. Eddie Jackson in the secondary, already kind of not playing well. He's doubtful, or he's questionable in this game. If he does play, what are you going to get from him? I see a situation where the Browns offense just really isn't clicking if Nick Chubb can't run the ball. I see the Bears defense signaling on that. Make Mayfield beat you. Then you have Justin Fields. I'm not ready to just crown this guy like everyone else is. So all that being said, on top of the fact that the line moved against me this week, it was at 47 and it's moved down. Tell you what, we got to do this show on Mondays and then again on Saturdays. The line moved down. It was opened up at 47. What do we have it at now? 44.5. I'm still going to stay with. I'm going to stay with the under in this team. I'm not even sure both teams. They might barely make it to the 20s. They might barely make it to the 20s in this spot.
I got to tell you, if this line would have stayed at 7, I saw it at 6.5 earlier in the week. I'm taking Cleveland to cover at home against Chicago. I'm going with the Brownies. I'm not sold on Chicago at all right now. So I think that Cleveland's going to light it up on their defense. So
Tell the running games. Chubb and Montgomery. That's what we got to have here.
Yeah, I hope so, because I got Chubb on my fantasy league team. So I'll roll with that. So let's go with Cleveland. I'm taking them on the I'm laying the 7.5. Let's go around the corner up to Detroit City as the Lions are hosting the Baltimore Ravens. And this one, the over-under is 50.5 on this one. Baltimore is a 7.5 point favorite. Baltimore is 8-1 in their last 9 against the spread. Detroit 4-6, which, that's about Detroit for the last 60 years, I think. 82% of the betting public is going with Baltimore on this one. I'm going to go first on this one because it's my hometown team. I love the over on this one because Detroit's defense smells. I think that I mean, they got no pass defense. You know, they let Aaron Rodgers, you know, they let him come alive in the second half. They got no secondary, very little pass rush. Baltimore, I think, is going to have their way with them. They're going to get out to a big lead. Then Detroit's going to play catch up when Baltimore relaxes that defense a little bit. Give me Baltimore. All right, I'm sorry. Give me the over all day long at 50.5. Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, so I looked at this, and this is another game I was studying because off of a big win, I looked for a letdown game with the runs. I also looked at the public to be all over Lamar Jackson's jockstrap here in this point, and they did. On Tuesday, we had this line get all the way up to 9.5 at my book in favor of the Ravens. So I grabbed the Detroit Lions at 9.5. And again, the theme of week 3 is the line moves against me. So we're down to 7.5 here in this spot.
Hey, Mike, Aaron, real quick. Aaron, Mike, do you hear any violins for Aaron in the background? I
hear a lot of them. He seems like he's not getting a lot right this week.
So.
Well, the situation I have here is it's a personal point of pride to beat you two every week. I'm okay with I'm feeling pretty with my 9.5 ticket over here. Personal point of pride. By the way, I'll just say this is a public service announcement. If you like something, get it whatever day you can get it. Things move all the time. And again, last night I made these picks. Some of these lines have moved a full point since last night, since I finalized these picks. So anyways, that being said, the number hasn't crossed the key 7 here, 9.5. I think we got a letdown game for Baltimore here in this spot. Keep Lamar Jackson healthy. Get out of Detroit with a win. 70% of the action I see on my site here is going toward that Baltimore minus 7.5. I'm going to fade. I'm going Detroit plus 7.5. I don't care if I have to get a backdoor cover to do it. Let's do it.
That a boy. Aaron, I love it. I love it. Keep the faith in my lines to cover. Mikey, what I know you got to take on this one. I want to hear what your gut feeling is on this game.
Well, I want to preface my comments by saying I didn't know we were only picking one bet per each game. That's why I couldn't give them 2 for the most games I've done so far.
All right.
My best bet is over 50.5 because whether the Ravens cover, whether the Lions try to backdoor cover, we're getting over 50.5. Mm-hmm. Adam Schefter tried to say Lamar Jackson had a problem health-wise. That was a lie. He was joking about that, according to the local reporters. So Adam Schefter, once again, was an idiot. But I'm going over 50.5. But hey.
My Michigan guy. Come on, man.
Let's not forget, Mike falls in love with these guys way too fast. He's already on the Jackson train.
All right, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
He did.
Okay. Over 15.5.
All right, very good. Very good. Hey, welcome everybody to our show, by the way. We are live on the 12 Ounce Sports Network. All of our handles, Twitter Live, Facebook, Twitch, our YouTube channel, you name it. Catch us on Twitter at Michael Carvelis, at Aaron AM Drive, and of course yours truly at The Real Captain Lou as we roll on here on week number 3 of the NFL season. We're going to go south now with our 1 o'clock games all the way down into the state of Florida. And we're going to have Arizona traveling eastbound after a huge win against Minnesota last week. They are 2-0. And guys, I'm going to say it up front. I was wrong. I was wrong on Kyler Murray. He's showing me some things this year, you know. And again, it's early in the season. We'll wait and see how he does in week 10 in that very, very stout NFC West. But this week, he doesn't have to be that stout. They're going to Jacksonville. 94% of the betting public that I've got is on Arizona. Jacksonville is a 7.5-point dog, over under 51.5. Jacksonville's lost their last 5 against the spread. Mike, you're up first. Give me your feel on this Arizona-Jacksonville team, and does Kyler Murray deserve to be, after 2 games, the NFL MVP?
Yeah, he's definitely up there. I think he's definitely earned that right to at least share a part of that. I want to first of all thank Trevor Lawrence for letting me watch my local CBS games with a good quarterback for the first time in my life. All I see is Jaguars games, and I'm happy that he gets to be on my TV. I'm not happy with the Jaguars saying a tweet after week 2 when they're 0-2 that we're going to get it together and don't worry. It's like the world is falling down. So obviously they're not very confident in what they're doing. They think everything's already done, and they look terrible. I think Cardinals, this is no fluke. My best bet here is Cardinals 7.5.
Aaron, like I said, this is the biggest confidence line that I've seen, in the last, all year, 94% on Arizona to cover the spread. And Mike's rolling along with that bandwagon. Give me your gut on what you feel about this game in Jacksonville.
So if I would have known that last night, I'd be all over the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 7.5. Like I said, if you give me a home dog that's getting more than 3, I'm usually going to take them. However, I stared at this, like no joke. You can ask my wife. I stared at this game for the better part of 20 minutes. I listened to some podcasts. I phoned a friend. I asked everybody about this. Ultimately, I will say this, disclaimer, I am not touching this game at all. But for purposes of this contest between the three of us, I think we get 2 outcomes in this game. We get a situation where Jacksonville wakes up on defense, holds Kyler to medium Kyler, not big Kyler, and the game's close but low scoring. Or we get Cardinals run out to 31 points, Jags lucky to get 10. I'm taking the under 51.5. I don't think we get there.
I am too with that, by the way. I agree.
I kind of like that thinking. The only way I'm touching this game tomorrow is a single game parlay where I get a teaser down to maybe Jacksonville plus 1.5 and that over under down to like 45.5 or something like that. I am with you, Aaron. I don't like home dogs that are over 3.5 points or 3 points, but I got to tell you, Jacksonville they smell worse than Detroit. And there's so many holes in that team. Now watch Arizona. Maybe they're overlooking Jacksonville. That could very well happen. But I got to tell you, I'm with Mike on this one. I'm taking the 7.5 points, or I'm going to lay the 7.5 points with Arizona. The Cardinals are going to go to 3-0 and really make things a little murky in that NFC West. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, let me tell you this. Here at my book, I get these trends, the way that the line has moved. And Sunday evening, this line came out, 7.5. It has not moved.
No, it did. I saw that too. That's funny.
It has not moved.
Nope. I looked at it Thursday night and again, and it did move. And then obviously this morning it hasn't. So we're going to go stick with our 1 o'clock games. We're going to go over to Kansas City. Kansas City, here we come. They are a 6.5 point. Oh, it's up to 7. My bad. I just noticed that I had 6.5. Kansas City now a 7-point favorite at home against the Chargers. The over-under on this one is still 54.5. The Chargers are 4 out of their last 5 against the spread. My stats have 81% of the betting public going for Kansas City on this one. They're 2-8 in their last 10 against the spread. Fellas, I'm going to go first on this one because I am going to take the over on 54.5. I think there's going to be some points scored in this one. And I think you're going to see a little more variety in the passing attack by Kansas City, and they're at home. And they're going to keep that juggernaut rolling. Aaron, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, so I looked at this situation. I think Kansas City this line's probably about right. I look at this spot here. Chargers, yeah, they suffered a heartbreaking loss at home last week. Let's look at this. It's the same old Chargers situation here for me. Like, can't finish games. It doesn't matter who's coaching this team. Anthony Lynn got a bad rap. Can't finish games. So I look at Kansas City. They were 5.5-point favorites against the Browns. They didn't cover. We know that. But if you're telling me that the Chargers are only 1.5 worse than the Browns, I think the Browns are a far better team than LA. I think that this team, this line should be a little higher in my opinion. So I'm looking at this spot. You're right. It hasn't really touched off of 7 or 6.5. It opened up. So I'm going to play the square play here. I mean, the public can't lose every game, right? I'm going Kansas City, and I'm laying the 7 points.
Mike, before I roll it to you, Aaron, that is a great point about the line. If Cleveland is only 1.5 better than the Chargers, I don't think so. I think they're much better than that against the Chargers. But, Mike, I'm going to give you a chance either to disagree or hop on the Kansas City bandwagon with the rest of us or the rest of the betting public. What is your take on this game in Kansas City?
Well, I just agreed that just because the line is 7 compared to 8.5, that suddenly the Chargers are only 1.5 point less. I feel like it's a division game, and Chargers always play games close. I feel like that's more of the thing here. It's not just, the Browns are so only that much. I don't believe that. But I am going with the Chiefs -7. I've been on this all week. But, yeah, that's just fine. I think Chiefs are going to play well. They might win by 2 touchdowns, but I don't think that – I think that line just means it's an AFC West battle.
You just contradict yourself?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I don't believe that that's why the line is where it's at. I think that's kind of that's not a good take. It's AFC West battle.
In the betting world, that's called hedging your bets, right?
It's AFC. Basically. How do y'all say that? How is this line only? You compare it to the Browns. Browns are not in their division.
Okay,
come on now. I would say the Browns Chiefs is a better, more closer matchup. But the situation here is, if you're saying the division matchup, you're saying that the line should be closer to 0 than 5.5, not further away.
I think
from
7 is perfect.
Okay.
I mean, it hasn't moved, so I mean, it went 6.5. It went 6.5 a little bit. There was some Charger money, but
I just love the over in this one, man. I can't wait to get the Red Zone channel on. It's going to be.
Sure.
We've got. I know we're not really. This is a football show, but I'm going to have the Lions game, the Red Zone, and the Ryder Cup. But it's going to be a fun day tomorrow to watch some sports.
There you go, Lou. I'll give you a prediction here: 34-24 Kansas City. Let's rock and roll.
I like that. I like that. Covers my over, and Daddy gets some money. Pay some car repair bill. Anyways, I digress. Let's get over to New England against New Orleans. This is my first game. I have no feel for this one, and I think the public's kind of like that. New England's a 3-point favorite, over under 42.5. The public is split, about 51.5% going with New England on this one. Mike, New Orleans has won 4 out of the last 5 against the spread, and New England just 1 out of 5. What Jameis Winston are we going to get tomorrow in this game against New England?
Well, it smells like we're going to get the Zach Wilson version of Jameis Winston because, he wasn't great last week against a good defense, and Patriots defense is – I would say no matter whose side you're on with the Patriots and Panthers, I feel like both defenses are pretty good. You're in Foxborough. I've got under 42.5, but I think we're going to get the something smells over here with Jameis Winston kind of version.
That's a bold under bet, man. Aaron, with me, I don't like going on unders when they get that low. I don't trust these teams because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, obviously you never know what's going to happen in any game, but that gets a little scary for you. So, Mike, I give you credit for going on the under for that one. I wouldn't do it. Aaron, again, 51.5% of the betting public is on New England. It's almost like a toss-up when a home team gets 3 points. What's your gut?
Yeah, actually, I was leaning on the over in this one as well, but I can see Mike's point. 2 good defenses. Stephon Gilmore's out, so that creates an ability for Marquez Callaway to wake the hell up. Come on.
What you think?
Jeez Louise. I don't know. I'm more a Jameis Winston stan. I think that's pretty obvious here in this spot. But this is the only bet. I went off the beaten path this week. I know you guys know that in week 2, I took a few of your non-traditional spreads and lines. This is the only bet I went off the beaten path this week. I caught the Saints team total over 19.5 minus 120. I think the over's in play here. I think both teams get in the 20s. I think we get like a 23-20 kind of game. And that's all I care about, just getting over 19.5. So Saints, 3 touchdowns this week, 2 for Kamara, 1 for Winston.
No.
New Orleans wins this game, New England wins this game 24-21. Give me that over Saints team total. That's the only thing I can find with this one.
You know what? I could see that happen in the 3 touchdowns, but I think instead of Jameis getting it on the ground, I think your boy Callaway is going to finally get a touchdown reception. Mike, I'm going against you on this one. I think it's going to be over. It's going to be a close game. That 3-point spread, I think, is spot on. And I think it's going to be a push as far as that goes. But I'm going over. I'm going to say 27-24 or, like Aaron said, 24-21. But I don't care. That means it's over. And, Aaron, that 19.5-point team total for New Orleans, that's pretty enticing. I may have to check that out tomorrow morning before I make my final decision on that one. But I'm going with the over. So Mike's got the under. I've got the over. Aaron's got 19.5 total points.
It's up to 20 on BetUS, but the juice came down. So my
Okay.
winning.
I will do that. Again, all of our odds, our over-unders and whatnot are courtesy of BetUS. And you can check them out at 12ouncesportsradio.com/BetUS as we're at the bottom of the hour here. Use the promo code 12ounce for a 125% deposit bonus, which means for every $100 that you deposit, they'll match it plus another $25, up to $1,000. That's what you call a lock of the year right there. And that's a no-brainer in my book. So get over to BetUS, check them out. They're safe, they're great, and get that bonus, 125%. All you got to use is the promo code 12OZ. That's 12 ounce. Mike Carvallis and Aaron Crouch, along with yours truly, Lou Gamlin here, Captain Lou, as the two fellas above me on the screen. Catch them on the AM Drive, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific, and all times in between. 1 p.m. Maritime if you're listening out in Nova Scotia or watching in Nova Scotia. You never know. And also that would be at 5 a.m. Hawaii time if you're out. Or maybe it is 5 a.m. if you're out getting a little moonlight beach walk in before the day's events in Honolulu. So let's continue with our games. We're going to the Meadowlands, to the land of Jimmy Hoffa. I think they're still in the Meadowlands anyways. New York Giants hosting the Atlanta Falcons. And the Falcons, 76% of the betting public is on Atlanta. I don't know. The over-under is 49.5 on this one. You all know me, Mike. We're not going to get in an argument here. I'm not a Daniel Jones guy. He's got to prove it to me yet. But he's got a defense. I think he could get well in a hurry on this one. Mike, I'm going to let you go first. Defend your Giants. Tell me what you're thinking on this game.
So the over 47.5 felt like the play here. But the more I thought about it, I just didn't know if I could trust both these offenses. But my play is the Giants -3. I feel like, maybe Younghoe Koo kicks a field goal late and pisses me off. But I'm going to go with the Giants -3 here. I think Daniel Jones has had a really good first 2 weeks. Nobody cares about that, though, because they've lost thanks to Saquon Barkley. But you know what? Screw it. I'm going to Giants -3. I think Daniel Jones shows up again. It's a team against the worst defense he's faced so far.
Mike's riding the horse. I like it. Keep it up, Mikey. Aaron, 76% of the betting public, like I said, is going with Atlanta. The Giants are 1-4 in their last 5 against the spread, and the Falcons are 2 out of their last 6. So that really doesn't come into play. Both teams smell against the spread. I don't know. What do you think?
It's another line that really hasn't moved. I couldn't figure out. You're right. I liked the Falcons right out of the gate here, plus the 3 points, and it hasn't moved. It just you're 76%, and it hasn't moved. It's just weird in this spot. I actually have 0 play on this, so you know what I did? There were 3 plays. The first one was that Cardinal Jaguar game. This is the second of the 3 plays. No idea what I wanted to do. No idea. Don't want to be on this. So I let my wife decide on this one.
Good idea.
And she took the over. So sounds good to me. 47.5.
Fair.
So Mike took the Giants -3. Aaron took the over. You know, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm not a believer in the Giants. You know that. I'm not a believer in Aaron Jones.
I'm sorry. How are we just letting this gloss over that you just blaming Saquon Barkley for losses? Nobody blames running backs for losses.
Let's see here. Daniel Jones outrushed me week 1. He outrushed me week 2. That's your running back who's supposed to be the best player out there. And
he's coming off a torn ACL, Mike.
But that's such a joke, though. They blame everything. He gets 13 carries for 80 yards and a long carry of 72.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't disagree with you. I think Saquon Barkley is vastly overrated. But you can't praise the quarterback when they win and blame the running back when they lose. Blame the special teams in that spot. He missed the field goal.
Fair. He's had 1 turnover through 2 games.
Blame Joe Judge. He's the most overrated coach outside of Matt Patricia in the last 5 years in the NFL. So let's move on. Let's go to what I like to call Three Rivers Stadium. It's not called that anymore. PNC Park or whatever it's called.
It doesn't even exist anymore.
An AFC North Showdown. Man, this brings back fond memories of the 70s when Cincinnati and Pittsburgh were really good, always battling it out for that division. Pittsburgh always had the upper hand. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite at home. And here's another one, guys. 50%. It's literally 50% of the betting public. So nobody's got a feel for this one in the public. Both teams, 3 out of their last 4 against the spread. I got to tell you, Pittsburgh, to me, I thought that they laid an egg last week against the Raiders. I'm not taking anything away from the Raiders. They stepped up on defense. They've impressed me. Pittsburgh hasn't. Pittsburgh's got 0 running game, in my opinion, right now. I will make the first pick on this one. I am going to say that I'm going out with my upset special on this one. Joe Burrow, money line. Cincinnati with the win. All right, Mike, you made some noise over there. Give me your pick on this one, tough guy.
I love the Joe Burrow. It just keeps on coming. People just love this guy, Joe Burrow, and I don't understand why. I'm going with the over 43 just in case Joe Smelly Burrow has a chance to cover late, but I'm going with over 43. I don't care about his one good year at LSU. Come on now. I'm going to over 43 in this one, and I don't care who wins.
Aaron, here's your chance to stick up for the Steelers, or let me hear your bite on this one.
All right, well, it's fairly simple here. I thought this was actually the easiest bet to pick this week, and, Lord knows that's probably going to be wrong for me. Joe Burrow is going to wish week in and week out that they picked Penei Sewell and not Jamar Chase, because he has been sacked 9 times in 2 games, second most in the NFL this season so far. And the Steelers' defense is probably the best one they've going to be facing up to this point. TJ Watt's questionable in this game, probably not going to go, or if he does, it's going to be in a limited role. But he's just 1A to the complement of 1B, 1C, 1D on that line. And I think Pittsburgh wins this running away. So I'm going to take the 3, or I'm going to give the 3, I guess. And Ben Roethlisberger, 24-8 against the Bengals, and that was a lot against Andy Dalton. I know that they won last year, but it wasn't Joe Burrow. It was Ryan Finley who beat them. All right. Najee Harris balls out again. He balls out again this week.
All right, we got to pick the pace up a little bit. The Cows and Quacks are coming up at 11 o'clock. Let's get over to Tennessee. AFC South Showdown. Tennessee all of a sudden showed some life against Seattle. Big win for them out against the 12th man. The line is up to 5.5. 87% of the betting public is on Tennessee to win this one. Indianapolis, Brissett, I believe, is the quarterback. Or no, I beg your pardon. Eason is the quarterback for Indianapolis. I'm going to take Tennessee minus the 5.5. They're going to be victorious over Indianapolis. Aaron, give me your feel on this one.
This was the third of the games that I just couldn't figure out what to do, because it's actually, I think we're getting Brett Hundley in this game, the guy who just came out of left field. We're not even getting Jacob Eason in this game, and the lines moved up 0.5 point the entire week, moved down 0.5 point the entire week. It was 6, and now it's 5.5. Like, how am I not just laying the mortgage on Tennessee?
Yeah.
So I stayed away from this game, but I'm going to lay the theoretical monopoly mortgage on Tennessee minus 5.5.
Mike, I know it's your Colts, but things aren't.
I go last. It's fine. Huh?
Things aren't looking so good for the Colts this week without Wentz. Your take on this game?
Minus 20.5. I mean, what do you want me to say here? No, Kane, don't do that. Minus 5.5. I'm just telling you how much I hate Brett Hundley, how much I hate Jacob Eason right now.
So we're all in agreement. First pick, all 3 of us are in agreement on with this game. Let's get out to the Mile High City, Denver against the Jets. 85% of the betting public is on the Jets, Jets to cover this 10.5 point spread against Denver out there. The over-under is 41.5. I think this is the smallest over-under. Mike, give me your take. Do you think the Jets can actually cover this 10.5 point spread? What's your best bet on this one?
So if we think the Jets couldn't have an offensive pulse against the Patriots, and now we think the Broncos defense in Denver is going to be much better, I think the public is high right now. I've got the Broncos minus 10.5, and I take that pretty easily.
Aaron, double-digit favorite at home. That's always tricky sometimes, but it didn't faze the Packers last week as they boat raced the Lions in the second half. But this Jets team right now, Wilson's got some learning to do. Give me your gut on this one.
So this one was tough, too, in my spot. You know how I feel about double-digit spreads. So I look at this situation here. We got the biggest spread of the week, which notoriously for me means bet the dog. But then we have Teddy Covers on the other side, who literally is like 70% covering in his career. So do I go with Teddy Covers? Do I fade Teddy Covers? Do I go with the biggest spread of the week? Two of my fundamental betting philosophies here are literally going head-to-head. Give me Teddy Covers, 10.5, the Denver Broncos.
Wow. 41.5 is a low over-under on this one. I mean, what I'm gonna end up doing on this one is teasing this one and lowering the over-under, taking the over and probably going with Denver minus 4.5. But for our purposes, I am going to take the over 41.5 because I think the Jets are going to have to play catch up. I think this is going to be like a 27-20 game or 27-17 game. So I'm going with the over 41.5 this one.
Lou, you better hope that Denver gets all 42 points by themselves. I don't think the Jets can get any of it.
Okay, well, you're probably right, but next week we'll laugh at each other. I'll take the heat, but I think that again, the Denver defense is going to lay off and go on to prevent when they're up big, and that's going to get some Matt Stafford type stat padding. Oh, did I say that? So let's go to the Sin City. Our next stop, Vegas, Miami. Vegas coming off an impressive road win against Pittsburgh. Derek Carr, to me, is really starting to flourish against, again, a very stout defense in Pittsburgh. I got to tell you this right now. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'll say it at the end of the show. This is my lock of the week right here.
Oh.
I'm taking the Raiders way into 3.5. I was shocked when I hurried up. I got this at 2.5 earlier this week. And so that was my super lock. How the Dolphins are only 3.5-point dogs, I have no idea. I think Derek Carr and the Raiders are going to roll the Miami Dolphins. I'm taking the 3.5 points. I'm laying them to Miami. 72% of the public is on Vegas. Aaron, go ahead.
Well, first, Lou, books are all over the place at this point, but hell, where did you get 2.5? I've never seen 2.5 here all week. Line opened at Raiders -6, and with the announcement of Tua Tagovailoa not playing in this game, the line has only come down to 3.5. So
Aaron,
kudos to you.
I was in my Coca-Cola truck. And I had the radio on when they announced that Tua was out, and I hurried up and looked at my cell phone, and I went, holy you-know-what, and I got on there quick because it was there. And it has since gone up to only 3.5. And I was like,
DK, come to Nevada, please, for the love of God, give me these lines. I don't like anything about this in the spot. I think the Vegas Raiders can easily get a win here, get out of here 3-0, still feel good. Keep Derek Carr healthy. That's the main thing. But let's not forget Tagovailoa really worth over Jacoby Brissett. Do we really believe he's worth 2, 3, 4 points to the line? And the fact that it's coming down, I don't know, man. I would have rather gotten this at Dolphins +5 or 6. So I'm ultimately going to lay off of it because you're right. Las Vegas can definitely kill this team. Miami still got a good defense, solid running game. Jacoby Brissett. All that being said, I took the over 44.
Okay. Mike, is Jacoby Brissett that much worse than Tua to warrant all that action? Give me your take on this game.
Jacoby Brissett, take it from a Colts fan, is one of the most average quarterbacks you'll ever see in your life. Tua Tagovailoa is actually a competent quarterback who can make plays despite not – he can make some plays with his legs. He can make some cool plays with his cross-body throws, whatever. Jacoby Brissett is literally there to pray you do not lose the game, and he doesn't even do a good job at that. I believe this game is going to be Raiders -3.5. I understand Derek Carr might be questionable. Josh Higgins might be there. I think they both play. I think Raiders win by 3.5. I think that's pretty freaking generous of Vegas to give me that.
Fair enough.
Famous
Fair
last
enough.
words.
Let's go. Let's stay south. Let's go to Los Angeles as the aforementioned Matt Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams are hosting Tampa Bay, in which should be an absolute fun game to watch. Aaron, I'm going to let you take this one first. The line is -1. It started out, the Rams earlier in the week were a 1.5 favorite what I saw, and it's gone now. The betting public has boosted this one to Tampa Bay -1. 69% of the betting public is going with the Bucks. Over under 55.5. Give me your taste on this game.
Yeah, I'm actually glad I waited on this game because this is one of the rare ones that moved in my favor in terms of the betting here. I actually will be at this game. When we finish this recording, I'm getting on a plane. We're going to spend the weekend, my wife and I, in LA. And this is the first football game I've gone to for the NFL in over a decade. So I'm incredibly excited to watch this. Tom Brady. My wife's going to see Tom Brady live for the first time. And this line moved right where I wanted it to. The Buccaneers secondary can't stop a nosebleed, and you got to go against Cooper Kupp. Mike knows it. I think Cooper Kupp's the best receiver in the league. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm on to make it short and sweet. I'm on Rams money line here. I'm going to take the 1.5, but I've already got a bet in on Rams money line when they became a dog. So we're all good there. It's what I like to call a happiness hedge. If the Bucs win, fantastic. We're looking good. We're 3-0. Everything looks good in that division with Christian McCaffrey going out. If the Bucs lose, Daddy makes a little money.
The GOAT indeed. Mike, before I give it to you, I just want to remind you guys that the GOAT got his quarterback expertise right over there at the University of Michigan. All right, Mike, here's your take on this one. Cooper Kupp notwithstanding, who's going to be the star of this game between Tampa Bay and the Rams, and who's going to get – what is your best bet on this game in L.A.?
Aaron Donald is going to make this game go under 55.5. I know people want to see Tom Brady versus Matthew Stafford. I don't trust either one of them. I don't trust Brady against this Rams defense. I don't trust Matthew Stafford in a big game. I believe it goes under 55.5. I also believe that getting your education in Michigan was the best thing he could have done considering he wasn't playing half the time. So I'll be fine with him getting his education over there.
Well, I got to tell you, it's so funny because he couldn't even start. Drew
Amen.
Henson was starting quarterback, and if you guys know the quick story on that one was George Steinbrenner signed Drew Henson to a baseball contract so he would quit beating his alum, the Ohio State Buckeyes. So I'll take that, Jeff Beck. This game, pardon me, I got to plug my computer in. I thought I had it plugged in.
All right.
There we go. Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Please stand by.
I was down to like 4%. I digress. This one, my best bet, I flip-flop back and forth on this one. I got to make it real quick. I'm going to go with the over. I think this is going to be a shootout towards the end of the game, so I'm going with the over. All right, we got about 10 minutes left of the show. Let's go back up to Minnesota to the train wreck that is the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Seattle Seahawks. This one now, my line was at 1 when I first looked at this. Now it's up to 2. Seattle, a 2-point favorite. I think they are going to, coming off a loss, I think Seattle's going to win this one in Minnesota. The over-under is 55.5 or 55 now on this one. God, that's tempting to take the over-under. Seattle, 4 of 10 against the spread in the last 10, but Minnesota is 1 out of their last 8. Quickly, I'm going with Seattle covering the 2. Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually completely opposite with you on this side. Of Vikings +2. Don't know why I keep going to this well. At some point, I just believe that there's going to be a situation where the Vikings and Zimmer figure it out. So Dalvin Cook being questionable for this game. I'm not sure what the plan is for Dalvin if he does play. However, in my opinion, I don't think Madison's that big of a drop-off in terms of catching the ball and running the ball against the Seattle defense because the Seattle defense in the front line. If he can get past the front line, we'll be okay. I think Seattle can. I think everything goes with Minnesota's defense. Tyler Lockett has been shredding people for 2 weeks here. Take him out of the play. DK Metcalf has not really been relevant here for 2 weeks. Take Tyler Lockett. Don't allow that home run ball. All that being said, I'm taking the Vikings +2. I'm going back to the well. Mike Zimmer, come on, man. Don't let me down here.
Okay, Mike, it looks like you're going to be the, the tiebreaker unless you go with the over-under on this one, as I've got Seattle laying the points and Aaron's got taking the points on Minnesota +2. What is your feel on this one, Mike, in this Minnesota-Seattle game?
My feel is that Seattle is overrated, and my feel is that the Vikings +2. Kirk Cousins has played well. I agree with the Alexander Madison take. Vikings +2. Sorry, Lou.
It's all right. You guys will be losing. That's all I got to say. That's easy enough. It'll be one for the bald cat kid. So, all right. Let's go to the Sunday night game. This is shaping up to be a dandy. San Francisco and Green Bay. San Francisco comes in a 3-point favorite. The over-under on this one, courtesy of BetUS, is at 50.5. I saw it earlier at 50. Not that that makes a lot of difference to me. San Francisco, 3 out of their last 10 against the spread. Green Bay, 4 out of their last 5, including covering that 11.5 points last week. Mike, I'm going to let you take this one first. I'll save my pick for this for last. 84% of the betting public is on the Cheeseheads. Green Bay +3. What's your take?
Oh, that made me feel bad. I think the Green Bay Packers +3 is my bet here. I know that Kyle Shanahan kind of beat this team in the NFC Championship game a year or two ago, but that was with good running backs and a healthy team. This team is not that. This team is snake bitten, as Aaron likes to call teams with injury problems. Packers +3.
Wow. Mike is going with the Pack +3. Aaron, 50.5 or 50, over under. I don't know about that. San Francisco at home, I thought their defense looked good last week against Philadelphia on the road. I know they let up against Detroit when they were up by 30 points in the second half, or 28 or whatever the hell it was. Green Bay, I got to tell you, give me your feel on this one, because I'm kind of wavering on this a little bit.
Yeah, this game sat excuse me, this game sat at 3.5 pretty much all week until just recently. We got a line movement, in favor of San Francisco in this spot. To piggyback Mike, we talked about it on the show on Thursday and Friday. If you can't run the ball, that means you have to rely on Jimmy Garoppolo to win you a game. Are we ready to do that yet? I mean, everything we've seen about Jimmy Garoppolo winning football games, he's had a great rushing attack. Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, even 2 weeks ago with Elijah Mitchell. He doesn't have any of those guys. He doesn't have his leading rusher from last year, Jeff Wilson. He's not coming back till December. He's got in the backfield Kerryon Johnson, who's been cut and is on the practice squad. He's got Jock Patrick, who has 0 career carries. And he has Trenton Cannon, who has 1 career carry for -1 yard. By the way, picked him up in fantasy, hoping he does well this week. And he has a beat-up Jermichael Hasty's gone. He has got a beat-up I can't remember his name. But anyways, Elijah Mitchell's beat up, and concussion protocol for the other guy. His name escaped me. I'm not going to waste time on it. You got to rely on Jimmy Garoppolo to beat you in this spot. And Debo is going to be covered by Jair. I had the 3.5. It's down to 3. I'm taking the Packers. I'm rolling with Mike on this one.
Well, I got to tell you, Kyle Shanahan's a little smarter than Dan Campbell. And Green Bay's pass defense is lethargic at best. They made an adjustment at halftime. Green Bay was able to take advantage of that because Detroit didn't. They didn't adapt to it. San Francisco will. Green Bay got their asses handed to them in New Orleans, 38-3. I know it was week 1. They're on the road. They're in San Francisco. That seems to be just a monkey that cannot get off the back of Aaron Rodgers. Kyle Shanahan, I think, his passing attack is going to be a little much for Green Bay. I'm going against you guys. Green Bay's got to prove it they can cover on the road. against anybody. I'm going with San Francisco laying the 3, and I'm also probably going to go with the over on this one, but I'll just take San Francisco minus the 3. Finally,
I can tell you. Hold on, Lou. But last thing here, I think this is the game. If you had to put a gun to my head, most likely to land on a push.
San Francisco
probably sneaks out with that 3-point win.
They very well could, but I kind of like the over on this one.
I do too.
And so that's why I'm leaning on this one. All right, guys, we got a few minutes left. We got the Monday Night Football game, Dallas at home against Philadelphia. I'll go real quick and say that Dallas has won 5 straight against the spread. The betting public, 51% on this one. It's a 3.5-point favorite. I'm going with the Cowboys. Actually, I like the over on this one, so I'm going to go with the over real quick. Lou on the over. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. I'm struggling between the under 52 and Eagles plus 3.5. So go with under 52 because Micah Parsons has showed up. I actually like the Eagles defense so far. I like the under 52 in this game.
Aaron, real quick, your take on this one, your feel for this game on Monday night, Philly and Dallas.
We're good?
Nope, go ahead.
It's your Wi-Fi, you're good.
So I think the situation comes down to the defenses. We know what we get in Jalen Hurts. That's going to be the promo. We know what we get at Dak Prescott. That's going to be the promo that everybody wants to see. We want to see the offenses. Situation here is actually the Cowboys have been playing better defense than we're given credit for the last few years. They have 6 takeaways through 3 weeks. They lead the turnover differential in the league at +4. The Eagles have not taken away at all. No picks, no forced fumble recoveries. They are the only team in the league not named the Jacksonville Jaguars who have not had a turnover on defense. I don't like that. If you can't turn the ball over and make Dak Prescott work for these yards, which it's going to be even tougher now. Brandon Graham's out for the year with an Achilles injury. I think we get more of the same. Philly has trouble on defense. Dak has a field day. Cowboys cover this one, 3.5.
All right, guys, 30 seconds each. We got to wrap it up for your locks of the week. You already know mine. It's Vegas covering against Miami. Aaron, real quick, what's your lock of the week?
So my lock of the week, again, hate that term. My lock of the week is Pittsburgh Steelers -3 against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they win this game by 10+ points.
Mike, give me your lock for this week to make you look like the hero.
Titans -5.5 versus my Colts.
Wow. Okay. Maybe he's trying to do reverse psychology.
Oh, right.
Fellas,
okay.
This has been a lot of fun. Really appreciate it. Aaron, enjoy the football game in Los Angeles. Go Tom Brady, just for you and or for your wife. For Mike Carvallis and Aaron Crouch from the AM Drive, this is Captain Lou from the Captain Lou Extravaganza saying, enjoy the football games this weekend. And welcome again. Thank you for joining us. Just a reminder, keep your heads up, keep your feet moving, keep your sticks down. And as always, keep your minds open. Until next week, thanks for joining us here on 12 Ounce Sports.